Say what you mean, you ain't gotta play games with me.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm showing you guys how I got these faux locks. This is a style that I've been wanting to do since forever. I'm not gonna really talk about much detail on it because I do that in the video, but without further ado, let's get into the video. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using 3 packs of the Cuban Twist super long hair. Now you do want to make sure that it does say the Cuban Twist and the super long in front of it. I got these packs at my local beauty supply store. I'm also going to be using 2 packs of the Queen Bee braiding hair. Depending on how much hair you want to have when it comes to braiding is totally up to you in order to form the lock. I did 50, but you can do less. I'm also going to be using a rat tail comb and my choice of the edgewax yellow top. Then I'm also going to be using a crochet needle. I'm starting off with freshly washed hair, and all I did was shampoo and condition my hair, and then I left it to dry and then brush it afterwards. So to make the parting easier, I decided to part my hair as if I was going to do a half up, half down hairstyle. Then I went ahead and I split that section into 2 pieces. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking a rat tail comb and I am parting the section of the hair in order to start the braid. As you can see here, I already have a square parted in order to start the braid. So I'm taking a pack of the Queen Bee braiding hair and I'm going to take a section. Now I'm also going to take some of the edge wax and I'm going to apply it to the root of my hair and I'm going to brush that through. Now when I'm starting my braid, I'm going to split my hair into 3 sections as I would a regular braid. So the best way I can explain when it comes to adding hair to your natural hair is you take the 2 strands of the braiding hair to the other 2 strands of your natural hair and you want to braid that through. I know I don't really show it, but that's because the clip got deleted. If by any chance you are not familiar with this concept, you can always look on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure there are tutorials on how to do this to help you out as well. When I did all these braids around my head, I decided not to tuck my natural hair with the braiding hair because of the fact that I didn't want to do it for this hairstyle, since the Cuban hair twist was going to be wrapped around my natural hair. And because this is also something that I really wasn't concerned or worried about when it came to blending in my hair. But if you were to want to blend in your natural hair with the braiding hair, then I wouldn't say there's no problem with it at all. I just decided not to do it for the sake of this hairstyle. Before I do start the lock, I'm going to take my Cuban Twist hair pack, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to brush out the top and the bottom of the hair, and this is just to expand the hair to give me a little bit more hair to work with. This is going to be helpful when it comes to wrapping the hair around the braid and forming my lock. So here I'm just taking the hair and I'm expanding it and opening it up a little again so it can help me when I'm forming my lock. I'm now going to take the crochet needle along with the Cuban Twist hair, and I'm going to do the crochet needle in first. So I'm going to put it in the root of my hair first and then the Cuban Twist hair. I do show at a later point in the video of a better clip on how to do this where you guys can actually see it a little bit more better. So with these 2 strands of the Cuban hair twist, I'm going to take the shorter side and I'm going to twist it in a twisting down motion until I can't twist anymore with the short piece. I don't necessarily want it at the root of my hair because I don't want the longer side, once I start to wrap the lock, to get heavy on my root. So with one hand I'm going to be holding the braiding hair, and with the other hand I'm going to be wrapping the Cuban Twist hair around the braid. After I got used to forming locks and actually wrapping the hair around a braid, I found out that there are different methods when it comes to wrapping the lock around the braid. So whichever technique is best for you is the one you can use. I found out that this technique was good, but then of course I switched to a different technique at the end of the video. So once I get to the end of my lock, I'm going to take the braiding hair that I have left, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to twist upwards, and this is to secure the lock. So now what I'm doing here is I'm taking a lighter and I'm going to burn the end of my lock, and this is to keep the hair in place. Also keeping it tight and firm so that it doesn't unravel and come apart within the next few days. So this is how the lock looks, but as y'all can see, if you look very closely at the end, you can see where I didn't wrap too tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another strand of piece of the Cuban hair twist, and I'm going to add it to the part where I didn't wrap very tightly, and this time I'm going to make sure that I do wrap tightly. This is very important as to why it is important to wrap tightly, because again, this can happen where the lock may look very loose at the very end. So here I'm just showing y'all how the lock looks after I have retouched it up and I actually fixed that part where it looked very loose. So again, here's a better view of how I wrapped the faux lock on my braiding hair. So I'm going to take the short piece of the Cuban twist hair. I'm going to twist that all the way down and I'm going to span the hair. And then I'm just going to continue with wrapping the Cuban twist hair around the braid. So again, you're going to want to take the short piece of the Cuban twist hair and you're going to want to wrap that and twist down all the way on the braiding hair. And with one hand, I'm going to hold the braiding hair. And with the other hand, I'm going to use the Cuban twist hair and I'm going to wrap it around the braid. When you're first starting to wrap the hair around the braid, you want to make sure that you wrap it around 1 or 2 times. And then that's when you can actually have a tight firm. You don't want it too tight because then it can pull at the roots. And that's not good for your hair because then it will damage your roots. So as you can see here, this is how it looks after wrapping it around 1 or 2 times. And now I'm just going to continue with wrapping around the hair. Here's a better view when it comes to adding the Cuban twist hair using the crochet needle. I'm going to stick the crochet needle in a part as you see here while taking the Cuban twist hair and I'm going to just slide that through. I put the Cuban twist hair in the opening as you saw, and that's pretty much it. So again, here's another mistake of my locks where I didn't wrap too tightly. So I'm just going to unravel that and I'm going to undo it in order to wrap tightly. This is another method of wrapping my hair of what I did, and I found this method to be the most easiest compared to the other one because with one hand I was just wrapping around while holding it at the same time. And I suggest wrapping your hair until you get to the very end where you can't anymore. If you want to keep on doing the same method, you can, but the way I do it, I switch the technique and I just take my 2 fingers and I wrap that around and I just keep on wrapping around until I'm able to grab and I'm able to twist it around. You want to make sure when you are burning your hair at the very end that you do not burn your real hair because you don't want to have that happen and you take out your hair and you see that it is burnt. You don't want to have that happen. That is the finishing lock after it is retouched up. After I was done with my locks, I did go in and I did cut the ends just to have them shorter so they won't be as long. So now I'm going to take the edge wax and I'm going to just do my edges. I did them partially aside from this video, but here I'm just touching them up and I'm just making sure that they're good to go. Alright y'all, so that's pretty much it for the end of this video. If you guys did like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.